Okay, thank you, Matt. Appreciate the intro, and thanks everybody for attending today. EnMass Energy as a company and as a concept is mission driven to support the waste to value industry in North America and globally. But we use the phrase waste to value very broadly. The concept of waste to value really comes down to what it takes to build a circular supply chain and procure materials that are traditionally unpriced as commodities in the market. So I believe it was, I see the icon, but I don't see the name. Arrow Feather or Arrow Powder. We should definitely talk afterwards in terms of how you're building out your procurement networks. But yeah, EnMass Energy was founded in 2015 as a project development company for waste to value projects, initially utilizing agricultural residues as a feedstock for electricity generation. We quickly realized after putting together a portfolio of energy projects and going to private equity that there was a significant market gap in the digitization of supply chains for waste to value projects and waste to value companies. There's a significant amount of finance, capital, and development happening on the project side of waste to value. This is RNG, food waste to electricity, even chemical recycling of plastics, for example, and niche commodity procurement around circular supply chains, basically. One of the things that we realized when trying to build our own projects was there's a fundamental economic problem that is not addressed when trying to build up the infrastructure required to support projects like these. And that is that if you're sourcing a material that has no value in the marketplace, it's not a traded commodity, it doesn't have a clearing price or anything like that. There's a fundamental economic problem that it becomes valuable only when you put out price signals saying this material has value to me, and this is what the value is. Basically, every decision you make after that point has to be stacked against your operational costs, your procurement requirements, quality control, for example. So EnMass Energy has built that digital infrastructure utilizing a digital twin of commodity procurement to support the waste to value sector and the industry as a whole as it grows. We look at waste or unpriced materials as a commodity. That's a very big sort of step change from how a lot of organizations and project developers look at waste or unpriced materials. Waste is abundant, but there's a significant lack of transparency and oversight in terms of how it's moved, where it goes, what the costs associated with that movement are, and as a result, it's very difficult to stay within the economic bounds of a project supply chain when you're generating something of value on one end, but procuring something that has no clearing price or costs associated in the market. So our solution is to digitize this process. The current status of this process is it ranges from very complex with sophisticated companies trying to build internal software or utilizing a number of different softwares that all don't speak to each other, all the way down to paper-based ad hoc processes where a procurement manager or project operator is calling suppliers out in the marketplace and sourcing material and one-off deals. That is extremely time-consuming and inefficient. So we built a platform that can take that process and duplicate it many times to increase that operational efficiency and drive down the costs associated with building a circular supply chain.
I am sorry, Andrew, but your time is up. Can you just tell us
Wow.
quickly how much you're raising and
Sure.
the evaluation?
We are currently raising 1 million at a 10 million valuation. We've done a previous seed round. We're considering this a pre-Series A round to support moving monthly revenue that we're currently generating into a recurring revenue structure.
What are you guys at revenue-wise now?
We generate roughly 40 to 45,000 per month in revenue, but only 1/3 of that is monthly recurring SaaS structured revenue. The rest is services and data reporting for individual customers.
But you're transitioning to more of a software as a service type model. What will that business model look like in the future?
That business model, I did not get through our product, but we have a SaaS product that's a digital twin of a supply chain that specifically solves all the problems that I spent far too long describing in my 5 minutes. And then we have a data report that basically provides market intelligence on the generation of waste, how it moves, where it goes, the costs associated with it. And this is specifically a level of transparency that nobody else has, and many people are demanding.
Understood. Nadav, Kostas, do you have questions for Andrew?
I think maybe if you could tell us a bit about the team, your background, how did you come across the problem? I'm sure you had it somewhere in the presentation. We didn't get to.
I do. You guys can just usher me through the rest of my slides in the Q&A. Yeah, my background is I'm an economist and project developer, but specifically worked in public policy before moving to the private sector to support renewable energy development. My co-founder and COO is a niche business builder and bootstrap operator, and our VP of data is a math PhD that we hired away from a commodities hedge fund who has been integral in our algorithm building and data modeling. We also have additional data scientists from energy utilities, software engineers from the ag tech sector, and our current team is approximately 7 people right now.
Great, thanks. I have a few more questions, but I'll let Nadav maybe go first.
Okay, so thank you, Andrew, for the presentation. So you know, first of all, quick thought. I'm sure there's a lot of inefficiencies in the waste to energy market, or waste to value, as you call it. Can you try to be maybe as specific as you can in terms of the core of your platform, in terms of where are you tackling those inefficiencies? Whether it's payments, is it access to certain data? Is it transportation or scheduling, delivery? I mean, what are really those key things that you think that you're doing better than those energy providers can do by themselves? Because I think that's your value proposition, right? Because I guess that these energy providers can try and, you know, and do this process by themselves. But what you're saying is no, come join our platform, and we can actually aggregate a lot of data, use better processes, and automate certain things. So I'm really interested in those core, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that you think that you're doing better.
Absolutely. We don't currently have payments on platform, but that is in our roadmap to support sort of a growing marketplace for connecting suppliers and projects. The first thing that we do that is our sort of claim to fame is data transparency and supplier intelligence. Where suppliers, how much waste is out there? Traditionally, that's very difficult information to gather, and it's integral to any project that's operating with feedstock requirements generally. Our software specifically solves a number of operational problems due to the complex nature of running an end-to-end supply chain that's dependent on this material, that's unpriced, and generally hard to track, basically. So there are operational aspects of it. We don't provide transportation. We provide the digital footprint of the movement of the material that provides opportunities for operational efficiency, improvement of your supply chain, improvement of your supplier base, and the material that you're sourcing. So there's a significant room. There's significant room for improvement of any project that isn't already doing that, and I don't think any of them are doing that, frankly.
Thank you, Andrew. Kostas, back to you.
Yeah. So one question from my side is about the, if you could elaborate about the business model with a bit more numbers in terms of how much would that cost, how much value you can generate, and how do you see the financials kind of progressing?
Sure. Yeah, right now, our data products are selling at roughly 15,000 a report. Traditionally, the alternative to our data product is you hire a niche consultant that takes 3 to 4 months to gather all the data and present it to you. We built an algorithm that does that same work based on our waste modeling and commodity models. The algorithm does that in about 2 hours. So we charge the same as a consulting firm, but can do multiple data reports on a weekly basis that really reduce the development time in a competitive market for projects originating and being developed. The operational software is a traditional SaaS platform, but the amount of money that is moving from either suppliers to projects or projects to suppliers, depending on whether they accept tipping fees or pay to procure material, is a couple of $1 million per year per project generally. So we have priced our software platform relatively aggressively low, so we get more projects on there and then start operating as a marketplace where we take on platform payments and take a percentage of the money exchanged on platform.
Maybe a follow-up to that. Beyond the reports for the SaaS product, do you have the option to upsell different things? Are there different functionalities that you can develop further down the line and upsell?
Absolutely. One of the things that we do for customers that have been on our platform long enough for us to verify who their suppliers are and what they're actually sourcing and valuing, because quality control of material is a huge issue, and tracking that back to a supplier is very difficult when you're sourcing from a sort of non-transparent marketplace. Once a customer is utilizing our platform for a period of time, we offer them sourcing services, brokerage services, connecting them directly to suppliers, connecting material directly to their project, which brings in a significant amount of revenue for us. But again, that's not strictly recurring revenue, even though it is large chunks of revenue that we have, pretty healthy margins on 10-20%. So those are additional services. We also provide some level of benchmarking of projects for private equity on our platform. There's a significant amount of finance tied up in these processes, like net 30, net 60, that we're able to sort of underwrite if all the activity is happening on our platform. There are a lot of options and services that could be provided once this entire process is in a single platform.
Got it. Thanks.
And did you mention competitors at all, Andrew?
So right now we mainly compete with basically a combination of 5 different softwares that don't speak to each other. So you have a CRM for your suppliers, a TMS following trucks around, and maybe an Excel spreadsheet tracking test results from material you're sourcing, inventory software, that sort of thing. None of those softwares talk to each other, and none of the people responsible for those activities can talk to each other around the same process. So all of those things happen within our platform, and everyone can stay aligned with the process and the targets and the goals of the company. The alternative beyond that, if there's not any software involved, and traditionally there isn't, it's strictly pen and paper. It's pen and paper and a phone, trying to call as many people as you can to find material that you're looking for. So there's not really a lot of efficiency in that process, and that's one of the first things that we work to digitize.
Understood. I think that's everything I have. Kostas, Nadav.
Yeah, I'm covered. Thanks.
Maybe one final question from my side. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you guys are facing or seeing in terms of the future?
Sure. So really, the energy industry and waste management are not the most innovative. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. So we've really had to make things as simple but innovative as possible. So a lot of times there are organizations where there's top level buy-in from the CEO, but the operational people on the ground that would be using our software and communicating across platform are not incredibly computer savvy. So we've had to deal with a little bit of sort of white glove or hand holding, really focus on ease of onboarding and tutorials within the software, where I think if we were focused on industries where there are a lot more software tools and software solutions, that might not be such an uphill climb in terms of ease of onboarding and ease of use. But that's been the big one that we're focused on from a tech perspective.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Andrew.